Good morning, everyone. My name is Mick Chantler, and I will be joining you this spring term for a new course called Teddy Roosevelt's America. Many of you have taken some of my courses in the past, and I really appreciate your attendance. And you'll notice that this represents something of a departure from my previous emphases on my studies in American history. Normally, I teach classes dealing with an earlier phase of America, the Civil War era, the constitutional period, that sort of thing. But lately, I've been resurrecting my interest in 20th century American history, and Teddy Roosevelt started to cross my radar screen. And I've renewed my interest in Teddy. I did quite an in-depth study of Roosevelt's career many years ago. So this represents a return to an old interest of mine, and I think you'll find the course material to be engaging. I hope so. We'll be looking at a man who is a remarkable bundle of contradictions. Jane Addams called Teddy Roosevelt the first president in our history who was even aware of the fact that we had a social and class problem to be solved in America. He was the first president to really attempt to grapple in any serious way with the economic distribution of America's wealth and to try to at least ameliorate the worst effects of the Gilded Age that he grew up in. So that's very admirable about Roosevelt. But on the other side of the ledger, we find that he possesses a number of characteristics that we would today regard as unacceptable, as bafflingly cruel, even. He's a man that harbored a fairly significant level of racism, not excessively for his time, but no question, he still represented the old school view on race relations in America. He had nothing but contempt for Native Americans. He's a man that is an avowed warmonger. I mean, he's the only president in the 20th century who said that war was a good thing, not something to be avoided, but to be embraced with gusto, that we should have more wars, not fewer of them. He's someone who has, in many ways, very retrograde views on women, feeling that they should all have large families, as large as possible, really, because the future armies of America need lots of soldiers. So these are among his many traits that we would reject, I think, were he a candidate before us today. But something we have to remember, and that is Teddy, like all of us, is a product of his time and upbringing. And I think that most of the views, even the really ugly ones that Teddy harbored, were pretty typical for his time. So let's give him a little bit of slack and try to see him on his own terms, which we'll be doing for 8 weeks during the spring term. So I hope that many of you will follow as you've done in the past and sign up for this class. I think it'll be a worthwhile spending of your time. Okay? Really appreciate it, and we'll see you in a couple of months.